The Lost Art Project, Veteran Stories. Everyone, I have a retired Master Gunnery Sergeant. His name is Andrew Cox. And that title I gave you at the beginning of the show is an amazing podcast that he is the host producer of that amazing podcast. And if you have not been following it, shame on you. You guys need to get on your Apple, your Dapple, your Stapple, whatever audio platform you are on. Follow it. Okay. And I was just on Andrew's show a few weeks ago, episode 495. Just so you know, he has over 495 episodes since 2023. Andrew Cox, retired Master Gunner Sergeant, United States Marine Corps. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. It's just exciting to be here with you. You're a motivator and you always get me excited. So thanks for having me.
No, you know. So and Andrew, by the way, is just so he's so gracious. I mean, again, he had me on this show, and I was going to get me a bourbon, and he had me so relaxed. I was going to start making up lies like Oprah. I was going to start confessing things. But but the beauty of Andrew is he's passionate. He's passionate about what he does. Can you tell the listeners and viewers just a little bit about you, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. So I served 25 years, Master Gunnery Sergeant, retired. It was time for me to go and had to figure out what to do. And I started jumping into this. And now I got the Lost Art Project, Veterans Voices. You can always find it on the website,
Mhm.
thelostart.podbean.com, and that's Podbean, Podbean. But yeah, you can find us there on any social or on all the social media pages, I guess. And then also you can any of the streaming services, Spotify, Apple, whatever ones are out there. I don't know.
And Facebook, and
Facebook,
everyone
yeah.
he's on Facebook too. But before we jump into the unarmored topic,
Hmm.
didn't something recently happen that is amazing news that I want you to share? I know you don't want to share, maybe you're humble, but some amazing partnership. Come on, man, what happened?
What are you talking about? What do you mean? Partnership with
You
who?
ready?
I don't
It-
know.
he's doing something in the nonprofit industry. Are you humanitarian nonprofit, something like that?
I am going into the nonprofit aspect. You got me. You got me. No, we decided to go ahead and go that route. We were kind of pushing off and not doing that starting out, and it's been a while. I think that that's going to help, especially with how we're archiving everybody's stories.
Yep.
So with Marine Corps History Division, sending those stories up there. I think I'll be able to get some help when it comes to funding and things like that to get more veteran stories. So it should good. But Marine Corps History Division, they're awesome. They have decided to take my podcast and they're just going to archive them up there. And I'm excited about that. It's pretty cool.
That is. I told you guys he's so humble. I'm like, and the thing about it is, just so everyone knows, you have to choose to incorporate any entity as a nonprofit. That's a choice. And,
Hmm.
and and once you do that, there's a lot of administrative things that occur. Um, and so thank you, Andrew, for taking that step to continue to make a difference while we're living. So let's jump into it.
Yeah.
You guys heard Andrew. I mean, lots of wonderful things, over 400 plus episodes. We're looking at him today as a retired, Marine, doing great things. But it wasn't always this way. How did this vision come about?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So, as I was approaching retirement and trying to figure out, what the heck am I going to do in retirement? Because you have to have a plan. You gotta have something set up, right? And I know I didn't want to work. That was the one thing. I was like, I don't want to go work for somebody. I don't want to do that. And I wrote a book, The Lost Art of Fishing Stories, where it's just me going fishing and talking to my fishing rods and I give what I call the lost arts, right?
Mhm.
The lost art can be anything. Changing a car tire, for example, is a lost art because it doesn't get passed down to the next generation.
Yeah.
So it can be anything. And as I was talking to my wife, I really started thinking about my dad and her dad, both Korea War vets.
Mm.
And we don't really have their stories. And then I got to thinking, veteran stories is a lost art because they get lost over time. And most veterans, I won't say all, but most veterans don't even tell their kids about it. And that's one of the things that I found very interesting is, the kids don't even realize the stuff that the veterans have gone through, or, what they did in service at all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what spurred it. And then I was like, well, and I had talked to somebody about podcasts before, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. But then after that, I was like, you know what, I'll do a podcast. And it started with just once. I think I started out once or twice a month, something like that. And then it just kind of it spiraled. And then it's just, I met a lot of people over the years. So I just reached out to people that I knew and was like, hey, come on and do this. And so people did, and started telling their stories. And I don't know, for me, it's an amazing thing to see the end result after somebody tells a story. Meaning, one, either they tell stories that they've never told anybody, and you understand this, veteran to veteran, they tend to open up more, which is really cool. And there's stories like family members have no clue. There's stuff that they's like, oh man, I haven't talked about this, since Vietnam. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely incredible. Sorry, my cat is coming to say hi.
Oh no, on Armor Talk, we welcome all guests, friends, families, and living beings. And it's funny too, at the end of the show, I always say "and living beings," so that
Yeah.
is excellent. If you're listening to this, you need to get on the YouTube channel and watch this amazing tiger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
This is Cat. I'm real original with my names.
yeah,
Cat. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that's how it started, man.
And thanks for sharing that point. And like, listeners and viewers, I hope you get this. Is it's a choice. And then as veterans, a lot of times, like Andrew said, we need a safe space. We need to feel comfortable. I actually just left a review on his podcast, and I mentioned that as a fellow veteran. I love how Andrew makes me feel comfortable. At any time as you're making this vision become a reality, did you go,
Hmm.
"What the hell am I doing?"
Yeah, pretty much from day one. I'll be honest. No, as I started doing it, and I'll be honest, I knew nothing about this world. My stuff at the beginning, not good. Uh, in fact, I got chastised by my mother on my first one because I had a little too much to drink, and let's just say I was being a little crazy. And so she got on to me, and I was like, okay, well, I know I need to pull that back a little bit. So that was from the day one, right? That's the first learning curve, was don't drink so much. uh Bad on me. But and as I move forward, like I get to these stepping stones, right? I get to, okay, I open a new social media account, or I do this, or I do that. And then it's like, man, I don't know if this is working. I don't know if, people are interested in it, and you don't really get any feedback.
Hmm.
And you're like, man, I don't, maybe I should stop doing this. uh and then of course I'm not making money. It's not happening. Which I'm not really trying to make money. But and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I think I'm nuts. Why am I doing this? But I always have to go back to, it's about the veteran. It's
Mhm.
about that individual, and how important it is to have that story recorded.
Great points. I'm really just smiling over here. I mean, you guys don't have a permanent tan, so you can't see me blushing here. But uh, I just couldn't imagine it. You get done, you're feeling kind of good about yourself, maybe a little bit too good from the bourbon or whatever you got, and then all of a
Well,
sudden, and do you have a nickname for mom, or does she call you Andrew?
no. Oh no, she just calls me Andrew. Yeah.
Hello, hey mom, Andrew. Yeah, mom. Yeah, I watched that episode. Yeah, mom, it was good, wasn't it? Now let's talk about good.
Yeah. Let's reconsider what good is. That's
Oh man. Well, everyone, and again, the key points here, if you didn't catch it, Andrew could have gave up. He could have said, that, and as a content creator, you don't get a lot of feedback. You get a lot of trolls. They'll start
yeah.
they stop trolling you after they realize you respond accurately. But you produce, you don't consume. You produce, and there's consumption, but there's not much feedback.
Right.
And in the beauty of him not giving up, almost 2 years later, look at what has happened. If you had to, Andrew, if there's one time where you were like, if I could give advice to someone who's about to start a podcast, you know, what would you what would be that aha moment that was for you, and then how would you transfer that to a new podcaster?
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
I know you've had a few of them.
Um, probably the biggest one is don't give up. I like no matter what. And you said it. I've said it that you don't get feedback, and sometimes it's tough. And you you get down on yourself. As veterans, that's how we are.
Yeah.
We have high standards, and when we don't see results, that hurts. So don't give up. Look at the numbers and stuff like that. Don't take that like as gospel, because there are people out there that are listening. It may be a small niche,
Mhm.
but know that somebody's listening, even if it's just your friends. And if you reach one person, you're good. So that's what I would tell them. Just know you're reaching at least one.
Yeah,
Surely your friends watching.
I think my first 10 episodes, I was the only one listening to.
Well, they say, what is the stats on that? It's like I think most people don't even make it past 10 episodes. Is
Okay,
that
so
right?
I was gonna bring that up, and so a lot of folks don't realize this. The majority of podcasters who start a podcast, they stop producing after six.
Oh, wow.
Oh no, it's even more. Over 75% of podcasts stop producing within 6 to 12 months.
Wow.
Yes, and then the next oh, yeah, and then the next wait till you do the research, the next 2 years, 24 months, that 25% cohort that moved on, another, like, 50% of those platforms stopped producing.
Wow.
So anyone past 2 years, head to 3, 4, and 5, you're rare. It is a
Hmm.
very small percentage. So I'm glad that was a good lead in, because I was going to share that with you, is as
Yeah.
you're rapidly approaching 500 episodes or more. Yeah, your podcast, The Lost Art, you know, project of veteran stories is rare. And last thing, charity. I'm doing more research, but there's not too many podcasts that I know that the
Hmm.
actual platform is for charity to make a difference in a community for a specific mission.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I think next year, again, I've been saying this for 5 years, but I think I'm going to have enough money in 2026 to get one of those fancy buttons, where
Hmm.
people clap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I have one. I have one of those on I got like a little board or whatever, which I don't use anymore. I got that initially. That was one of the learning curves that I eventually got away from that because it was bad. I couldn't work it. It was bad. But it had one of those buttons. Yeah.
I gotta. I'm gonna get one. I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, because you guys know on the show, every guest I just love having on the show, and all the long time listeners and viewers are probably like, Mario, you say this every show. I'm being honest. Like, I will talk to you guys know me. If you know me, you know me. I will have folks on the show for hours, and so I have to be
Yeah.
more disciplined myself. If you know, looking in the future, Andrew, and
Hmm.
here's kind of a discussion point to imagine. What's your imagination of where you believe that your podcast will go, and how many folks it'll reach in regards to impact and not numbers?
Uh,
What
Impact wise, I'm hoping like in a perfect world, every single veteran would
Mhm.
get their story recorded. I mean, that would be fantastic. I don't see that in my lifetime happening, but it's a good goal. But I do see moving into the future as it kind of gets bigger, having different podcast hosts who do these interviews and from different regions, different areas, maybe even eventually getting an RV and being able to travel around with all these different podcasters to certain areas, hitting up all the VFWs, the Marine Corps leagues, different things like that, just to record the stories. And I think it's so important. And that's really what I envision later down the road.
Yeah. What an initiative. Well, hey, Andrew, again, I appreciate you hosting me a few weeks ago, and I appreciate you appearing on the Unarmored Talk podcast. Tell your cat I said what's up,
Yeah.
and the family, and I love you, man, and Simplify, and thank you so much for being on the show, brother.
No, thank you for having me. You are the man. I love watching your social medias. For everybody out there, go watch his social media stuff. It is great. I love it. So keep doing what you're doing. It's good stuff.
Thank you. Well, you guys heard it. You guys heard it from Andrew. You guys heard it. Again, lots of key points, but one thing is just don't give up. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. But until next time, I will continue to pray for you, your families, your friends, and I have an actual live living being on the show for the first time in 5 years. So now it's connected, and all living beings around you. Take care, Andrew.